Welcome to your Leo full moon reading, and this of course is going to be at its climax on February 16th of 2022 at 11:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can figure out where that is at in your time zone. And it's beautiful. We have this wonderful, exciting, fun Leo energy that's coming about. And I wanted to talk just briefly about, before we jump into your reading, what this energy is bringing in. Of course, every 28, 29 days or so, we have a new cycle of moons, from new moons to full moons and back to new moons, and so it's always going that way. But also around every 6 months we have a cycle of going from the new moon in a sign to the full moon in a sign back to the new moon in a sign. So, you know, the new moon, the last new moon, I'll show you a little card here. I love this, all these beautiful sunflowers, because the Leo, I believe, is ruled by the sun, so this is beautiful energy. The last new moon we had was back on August 9th of 2021, and that energy that started us off on that journey, like it says here, shine, and like the sun shines, right? And that was about finding pride, you know, lion pride, in who you are, remembering respect for yourself, allowing your creative energy to bring like new and unique approaches to any of your challenges. So that was the energy that started up around there. And then 6 months later, here we're coming up around February 16th of the culmination. So during those 6 months, from there up to this point that's the journey that you've been having. So you can look at back on August 9th, see what was happening around that period of time, and just what has grown around your pride in yourself and the respect in yourself and your creative energy from that time. But the Leo full moon energy, this is about releasing now old thoughts and old beliefs about who you thought you were, you know, the old things that you thought you had pride in yourself, or the things that you were using to define your respect for yourself. And now you're releasing those and you're letting go. And like it mentions in here, little lion, go wild. Get out from all that restriction and all those old thoughts and beliefs. It also says that answers are coming. So enjoy your ride, have fun, love, smile, laugh. All of those things help you see and hear answers where you didn't see answers before. And it's about using your energy not to focus on your fears, but focus instead on what you want, not on what you don't want. Focus on what you're grateful for, because whatever you focus on is what is going to grow. So this is what this is about. And I love these cards are from this beautiful deck here. So I'll let you see that in case you want to check those out. And it gives you a lot of beautiful information about the moons and the phases of the moons. And in here, they mentioned like a full moon affirmation, which I really liked, which I'm going to alter a little bit, but they mentioned like the affirmation is, I live in the present and release all past pain. And I want to alter that and say, I live in the present and release all past pain and constriction and suffering and stress, because those are those old beliefs, the old ways of seeing yourself. And this is a transformation of seeing yourself in a whole new bright way, right? So I love this, and we're going to see what the Creator has to additionally provide you for each reading for each of the individual signs, and we're going to jump into your sign right now. All right, on my Taurians, this is your Leo full moon reading, and we're going to start off with this You Are Awesome deck to see what the Creator wants you to know overall for this full moon. Just give it a little shuffle. Get all your Taurian energy in here. All right, so what do you want our Taurians to know about the Leo full moon coming up? Okay, this is going to be just this top one right there. Get the avocados. And that says, I appreciate sharing moments with loved ones in the same way I appreciate avocado toast. Sometimes smooth, sometimes rowdy, always a party. They're toasting there, right? So I'll put this in the middle here. So it is about this gathering together and this beautiful, and loved ones, of course, is romantic, but it's family, it's friends, it's even work people if you really enjoy your job and the people you work with, your feather babies, your fur babies. It's about spending time with ones that you love, and like it says, it's always a party. So we're also going to pull some tarot here and just see what this is all about. The Creator wants you to know about this gathering together of individuals. So, okay. So you've got the Seven of Wands, and you've got the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, and I want these here for you. And the Seven, so you got these sevens going on. Seven of Swords. You've got the Magician, the Knight of Cups, the Five of Wands. Okay. Okay. And you've got the Two of Swords, and you got two for over here. You've got the Eight of Cups and the Five of Cups. Okay, that makes sense. We'll get to those when they'll come out, but now I know why they came out together there. So what we're going to look at, we're going to start off, and this is kind of like your full moon here, and this is the message, and we're going to start off up here and with just the singular card first, and this is the Seven of Wands. Wands is your drive, your ambition, your aha inspiration, your passion, and your spiritual energy. But for this is about not being defensive, that you don't have to defend who you are to anyone. You're finding this inner strength, this inner energy that you just don't worry about it. And this totally fits into this energy that's coming in with this Leo, full moon, and having fun and getting together and focusing on love. You're not focusing on your differences. You're not focusing on being offended or feeling this need to defend. So I kind of feel like what happens here is if someone says something to you that are like, well, me, whereas before you would have went, brah, like that from that, I forget the movie. It was one of those movies where were animated, and it was a little girl, and she had her 5 emotions within there, and the little red guy was the anger, and the fire would just burst out of his head like brah. And I kind of feel like that might have been what happened before, but now during this full moon energy time, you're just like, I'm focusing on having fun and enjoying the get together, and you're just letting it roll right off your back, which is cool. And then we're going to look at these 3 cards together. And you've got the Wheel of Fortune, which is a major arcana card. 10 is endings and new beginnings, and this change that's happening. You got the Seven of Swords. And swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations, a lot of your mentalness. And then you have also the Magician, which is the number 1, which you've got 10, which is endings, and 1s would be new beginnings as well. But we'll talk about the Magician here too in just a moment. But what I'm going to start off with is this Seven of Swords, because the Seven of Swords is like, you can see here there's something hidden, some shenanigans that are afoot, and that can mean about the outside world. And so this can be like, with these get-togethers that you have, you're like, there's some people that you're weary of because you're like, you know what, they have wronged me before, they've stabbed me in the back before, but with these sevens coming in, it's like, you know what, you're kind of letting bygones be bygones during this period of time, and you're realizing that your thoughts and your beliefs are about the person, about the situation, about what was going on. That's really what you're wanting to look at with this, because it's your thoughts and beliefs about the situation that are deceiving you, that are the hidden things. It's not about the other person, because they're just a mirror for you. If you believe what their actions were supposedly meant about you, or the words that they said, if they said something to you and you we talked about being offended. If you believed it, then that's about what you believe, you know. So I say, if someone comes up to you and says, you know, I think you're an alien, if you don't believe that, then you don't get offended at all. You just kind of look at people and go, oh, well, you're unique, aren't you? But if they say something like, you know, you're worthless, if you believe it, then that's where it comes in. And this is where this change is happening, because you're really finding some beautiful awareness about yourself during this period too, or you have been. You know, like you talked about in the introduction, from the last new moon up to here, you've really been experiencing and remembering your true worth, remembering who you really are, right? You're finding this respect within yourself for you where you didn't have it before. So this is why also you're able to look at things differently, because you're like, you know, it is what it is. So I like this with this. The Wheel of Fortune brings this message in that everything that happens in your life happens for you. It doesn't happen to you. You can even see this beautiful butterfly that she has here. Her wings, you have evolved. You've come to this new place. It requires you to leave behind being a caterpillar and dissolve a lot of your old beliefs of ways of looking at things while you were in the cocoon to emerge as this beautiful butterfly. And this magician also has this, you know, wonderfulness that, you know, comes around this, you know, you're no longer this caged little individual. You have seen things from a whole different perspective. You've seen things, you've removed your mask, you know, you don't have that ideas and those, just your reputation for yourself. And I don't talk about an external reputation. It's like your inner reputation. How you thought about yourself has totally changed, and you see yourself as this powerful new magician. Because the magician in the standard tarot has like this table with all of the suits on it. You've got, you know, you've got your wands and your pentacles and your swords and your cups. Everything that you need on it, you found within you. And so now you feel this empowerment, whereas you didn't before. And I really feel these last 6 months have been that huge change for you. And then we move into the bottom 3 cards and look at all those together. So I showed you the Magician already. And then you have the Knight of Cups, which cups are about your emotions. Knights are about movement. And you have the 5 of Wands. And we talked about wands already, about what those represent, that fiery energy. And what this does, so you have this King of Cups is this movement of your emotions, this activation of your emotions, this whole new way of looking at those emotions. Normally they would have the Ace of Cups that they're holding, and that Ace of Cups represents the chalice, the Holy Grail, and it holds within it the unconditional essence, the love of the creator of all things, of back home. It's the living waters. It's that we find within us that makes us feel whole and complete and delicious, instead of looking to the outside world and experiencing that bitter, sour, conditional, disappointing love that we find outside of ourselves, that imitation that we try to find, right? It's like drinking, you know, real Coca-Cola or drinking a little one-off of a cheaper brand where you're like, ugh, you know, this doesn't taste right. That's kind of the feeling. I don't know why they gave me that example, but that is, you know, what it is. It's this taste test that you're having, and you're experiencing it in a different way. Because this 5 of Wands here, it represents seeing energy, seeing things in a different way. 5s are about transition and transformation. And you have a 5 up here too, which we'll talk about in a sec. But the image that I get whenever I have this card, usually the standard tarot has like 5, you know, staves, and there's like battling going on. And so it's like this kung fu movie starts to play in my head, where there's 5 people that are battling, and they're hitting each other. And finally it ends up with one person standing, and everyone else is laying on the ground exhausted. And then they put down their staves and they all help each other up, and they're all laughing. They put their staves away, and they walk together to the mess hall of this Zen Buddhist monastery. And like, oh, these guys weren't battling each other, trying to kill each other. It was individuals, it was friends, it was fellow monks that were helping each other improve their skills, helping each other develop. And so this energy changes from one of conflict to one of love, of brotherhood, of sisterhood, of helping each other instead, which makes sense with everything we've been talking about up to this point. So you have this new emotion, this new empowerment, this new way of looking at things that is triggering these beautiful emotions within you instead of that disappointment and that angst and that chaos that you had before. Which brings us into these cards on this side. And you already had the 5 of Wands, so you have the 2 of Swords. You can see she's walking the tightrope there. And like we talked about, the swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, and mentalities. And then you've got 2 cups. You've got the 8 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. And like I said, I love how these came out together, because like we talked about here, you've got this major transformation that's happening in your ways of thinking, because it's transformation, it's transforming. This is transforming of the energies of the fire behind whatever is happening. And cups are our emotions, and so this is your way of looking at things emotionally as well. What I love, we talked about the little cage down here. Here's that cage, and the 8 of Cups is about you're ready to leave behind those emotions that no longer serve you. And that happens with this change in your mindsets here, because when you look at the 2 of Swords, like I keep on referring back to the Standard Tarot because they have some great imagery on it. They usually have someone that's blindfolded, and they're holding the 2 swords, and it's like, so you have 2 ways of thinking, 2 ways of looking at things. One is by your physical eyes, by your ego, or your shadow, your human self that is ruled by the fight or flight. But the blindedness, and sometimes you'll even see like a moon around the other sword, and that is about looking at things from the higher perspective, looking at things from the hidden, from the subconscious, from your connection to your spiritual side of your life. And so you're able to look at things through this unconditional love that we talked about here, from that place of love, without that someone has to do something to earn it, and there's nothing they can do to lose it, because you're filling up with that love and it's overflowing out. This action of this love. Whereas before, the old ways that caused a lot of the old stuff we talked about, that was conditional. That was because you were taught supposed tos and shoulds and need tos and have tos, and when someone does something, that means something about me. And it's like you've realized through this journey over the last 6 months that that's not about you. That other people's actions are them reflecting what's going on inside of them, and what you're seeing is a reflection in a mirror. So when you think that someone did something to you, we understand that, like this card was talking about, life happens for us. It doesn't happen to us. So that reflection of those individuals is helping you get to understand what's going on within you, how you feel about yourself. Because like we said, if you didn't believe what they said has any amount of truth to it, then you wouldn't even feel like you need to defend it. You would, like we talked about here, coming back, you wouldn't feel you need to defend situations. And we're coming back to, we're going to pull one more card after this, but this is the final kind of going around clockwise. It reaches this period of time where we look at all of these cards together, which we talked about everything happening for you. You're leaving behind those emotions and those ways of looking at emotions before, to where you're not defensive. You don't need to defend, and you're finding this beautiful capital T truths of the Wheel of Fortune, which the Wheel of Fortune says that before you came down here, your powerful soul that you are, your higher self, decided what avatar was going to represent it in the world, our human little body, when it was going to arrive, when it was going to leave, and all these fated events that it wanted to experience in life. Because in experiencing whatever situations we have, like if we experience sadness, we understand happiness more, and that happiness is our regular state of mind. Like we talked about with this 2 of Swords, there's 2 of you. your human self and your higher self. And your human self chose to come down here, and we wanted to experience all this stuff so we could look back and see who we really are. Experiencing the conditional, we understand unconditional more. Experiencing fear and chaos, we understand peace and happiness and joy. So everything happens on purpose, for a purpose. And this transformation that happens with this Wheel of Fortune, which is kind of what you went over this last 6 months, is you realize that you're not on this out of control drama train that's about to leap off the tracks and dramatically explode as it falls into this gorge. You're more on like a monorail train at Disneyland, or Disney World, and it's attached to the tracks and it's smooth moving, has all its stops that happen exactly on time for its purposes, and you go from this place of feeling like a victim where you're being spanked and punished to this victor where you feel like life is truly happening for you. So I love that. And then lastly, we're going to pull a card from this Elemental Oracle and just see what is the underlying element of this full moon for all this that you are experiencing around this full moon energy. And that you can experience this like a week before or a week after, around a full moon, and even further depending on what's going on in your life and your chart and your connection to the spiritual world too. So what's your final message for Arcturians? Nope, they said not those. Okay, there you go. Oh, well, there you go. And you've got the Storms, card number 23. This really reminds me of the Tower card, which kind of adds on to the Wheel of Fortune, because the Tower card represents like this, we were talking about all these fated events going on. It represents one of these fated events that were in your life, whether it was a relationship of some sort, situation of some sort of thing, whether it's your body, possessions, or bank account. There's something that was in your life on purpose, for a purpose, like we talked about. But the Tower moment comes, the storm comes, when this thing needs to be removed in order to experience the next fated event. So when something gets removed out of your life, then that happens for you. It's not happening to you. And so you look at the storm that comes in a whole new way, because storms are necessary, in our human world, right? Because it takes away broken things out of trees. It helps spread seeds. It does a bunch of different things. So storms are a part of this life. And when you add 23 together, you get 5, which is this transformation that's happening too. So it might feel like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And this says cleansing is the little other word on here. Sometimes you need to raise a lot of energy to blow away what you no longer need, right? We talked about letting go of the emotions, old ways of being that are no longer serving you. An issue will come to a dramatic head, like drama we talked about, right? Cleanse your body. Let go of what you feel you no longer need. Be specific in your release. Harm as little as you can. That's totally that full moon and Leo energy we talked about too. Storms are created when a center of low pressure develops with the system of high pressure surrounding it. Thunderstorms frequently form within areas where a warm, moist air front collides with and borders cool air fronts. Spectacular, beautiful, and somewhat dangerous, these storms can also hurl out hail. Watching a storm come in over the ocean or watching storm clouds form is often an awe-inspiring sight. Watching big, steely gray clouds come in from the horizon at the end of a steaming hot day was a common occurrence when this author grew up. They would watch the clouds form and drop their heavy, watery burden, big fat drops hitting the bitumen and causing steam to rise from the road. We also experienced a feeling of all that intensity coming to a head and a comfortable coolness replacing it. So storms raise a lot of energy through movement and kinetic power, and many witches and shamans love to channel that energy into workings and spells. Standing in a safe place Plugging into storm energy is a fantastic way to charge your own body's batteries, as well as to practice holding and directing energy. As climatic conditions warm on our planet, storms will become more severe in some places and non-existent in others, both extremes causing imbalance. Controlling climate change will assist in controlling this destructive intensity. And the element of this is air. And I love this message because it really comes into all that we were talking about before. Like, you have these storms that have hit in your life because of your old beliefs and your old thoughts and your old ways of thinking. And now you're looking at things from a different perspective. And there's like this odd calmness and coolness after the storms that you get to experience around this full moon, which is amazing, because whatever you focus on around a full moon is what expands. And it's really like you're focusing on having fun and letting, like I said before, bygones be bygones. So I'm loving this for you. I'm going to leave the reading there. I want to let you know, in addition to these readings, I also do monthly readings for each zodiac sign, weekly energy updates by each of the elements like water signs, fire signs, etc., new moon, full moon readings, and some others. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and be notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click that like button, then also click on the subscribe button. That'll make this little notification bell pop up. And doing that will allow you to choose to be notified immediately for all the videos when they become available. Also, doing any of that helps share the love, because when you like a video or share a video or subscribe to a channel, it makes the YouTube algorithm go a little giddy, and it likes to share the videos then for that channel with other people. So if you want to do any of those things, then of course I am truly grateful, but never any pressure to do so. And just know, as you go throughout each and every second of every day of your life, that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing full moon, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. And until then, you take care.